Banyaji, our dear host, and our dear listeners, my fellow panelists in Paka Council, did it. Yeah, this year has been a tricky one across board, nationally, globally, and even in our private lives, especially the economy isn't good, and it's not about to get any better.
But the economy that you're talking about, Mwinevandizi, is we see new buildings skyrocketing. We see people buying more expensive cars, and life is good. So
me, when I'm here speaking, I'm speaking for the 1 inches, the wealth of this country.
But the social structures have been in existence for a very long time.
No. You see, we need to borrow it from some of these Eastern Europe countries, the likes of Norway, Iceland, where wealth is properly spread. Even UK is doing well, unlike America. So we shouldn't follow in the trends of pure capitalism, where you'll find the wealth of the whole country is in the hands of 1%. And right now that's what is happening. So it's high time Ugandans we woke up and we started living.
But when you hear the people like Peter Mpaka saying it's deliberate action by the NRM government,
that's also questionable, because if you look at the lifestyle of their principal, really it does not.
But this young man had the money way before politics. This man.
Listen, you see. No. Listen, who the fuck is he?
They talk about
that
the language is not acceptable on this radio station. I think our listeners deserve an apology.
Sorry about that, but you see these guys treat their principal as if he's a demigod. He's a Ugandan. And if we can critique His Excellency, the First Lady, other high-profile Ugandans, critique global leaders, critique people that even fought for the liberation of this country. People... You see, there isn't anything as bad as not giving credit where it's due and taking life for granted. If you go to Libya right now, they used to yap nonsense about Mama Gaddafi, but where are they? They are begging.
Yeah, but
same applies here. Me, there are some things that I agree with Bobby Wine, because he's an inspiration to the youth when you look at his background. But when it comes to politics, I don't agree with... I can't support someone that supports homosexuality, someone that is a hypocrite, someone that is getting money from his personal leaders and telling others don't get money, when there is a certain percentage that his MP have to pay monthly to him. Where does that money go?
But those are huge obnoxious allegations.
No, they are true. We have facts. Yes, there are facts. I can back them up. So, as I conclude,
yes.
But you're on a mission to divert us, because you know your capacity is heading nowhere, and that's the reason as why Ugandans are hesitant.
I don't know about you slept there, but let's welcome
yeah, it's
Peter
a capacity. So as I conclude, Banyaji, me, I still wish well Ugandans, let them enjoy the festive season responsibly and let them carry on using our roads safely as they are heading back to their places of work, because the festive season is coming to an end. And I'm just praying and hoping they were all frugal in their expenditure. Reason being, tuition fees is around the corner, and irrespective of the fact that currently the cost of education is a little bit expensive, we must take our kids to school, because that's the least that we can do. Thank you.
All right. Peter Mpaka, good morning and welcome to the Big Set.
Yeah, thank you, West J, and good morning, our dear listeners. First of all, I want to congratulate you for having gone through the festive season.
investigations, I found out that actually the cost of connection and installation is too high. 1M. And of course, as per the standards of our people here who can't even afford 2 meals a day, 1M is too high. And so going forward into 2024, I call upon the NRM dictatorship to increase the electrification of the homes of our people. And then the second, it is so absurd that 61 years into independence, a whole state like ours, which is so-called independent, is still dependent on one company and on one foreign company to supply its 2.5 M vehicles with petroleum and oil. And that is so absurd.
All right.
And of course, my person of the year is Honorable Zake.
All right, let's stop for a break. We'll be right back into the topic of discussion.
Not to back down. That is the pressure that we want as members of the opposition.
Good morning.
It's tough. It's bold. It's real politics. The Big Seat on 91.2 CROOZE FM. Great music.
Great music.
Great friends.
Great friends.
The only reason other radio stations exist.
I could be the best thing in your life.
1.2 Cruise FM, great music, great friends. If you want to listen online, go on www.cruisefm.com/stream, and Cruise TV is where you can watch everything that is happening here. Happy New Year to all cruisers that are either in Uganda or outside Uganda. We wish you the very best of 2024. Whatever went wrong this year, God will put right next year, so have faith that things work out all good. But for the leaders in the country, you have responsibility to show good direction to all the people of Uganda. My name is Wesige Banyaji. The Big Sit happens every Saturday from 9 a.m. to 11, where we sit and discuss matters of national relevance. But this morning we shall be talking about the biggest topics of the year 2023. Give us what you think caught your attention this year on our social media platforms. 912 Cruise FM on X and 91.2 Cruise FM on Facebook. Go like, comment, give us that feedback. But later on the show, you call in on 752-912-912 and 780-912-910. Now tomorrow, we shall be counting down the biggest songs of the year. From 2 p.m. up to midnight, we shall be ushering you into the new year. Most importantly, I'll be a part of the team that will be taking you through all the way up to 2024. So you get a chance to win yourself 91,200 shillings when you predict the biggest song on the countdown tomorrow. So follow that and you get to enter the new year with some money in your wallet. With me in studio is a man who is in a very different kind of mood, and we apologize for the bad words that he used. Asimu Evangelisi, the people of Mitoma are on the radio and they're evaluating these leaders here. So come 2026, they will have what to do with it. Peter Mpaka belongs to the National Unity Platform, and Council Bwenje Dels did it, who is a lawyer. The biggest stories of the week, of the year. There is a story that shook literally every Ugandan, but not very surprisingly. Iron sheet scandal in Uganda. The list of leaders in the scandal: the Prime Minister, the Karamoja ministers Agnes Nandutu, and then Ethics Minister Kelo Rose, the Speaker of Parliament, the Vice President, Jessica Lupo, Amos Lugolobi, who had roofed his animal shed with the Karamoja iron sheets, Matia Kasaija, who said the iron sheets were simply found their way in his compound without his knowledge, and on and on and on. As we go into 2024, what did this reveal of the politicians, especially those in government, with how they manage the resources of our people?
I want to state, of course, from the onset, that the saga of the Hamabati is a manifestation of the fact that the people of Karamoja are, quote and unquote, condemned. It's as if they are not part of our country. It's as if they are not people of Uganda. It's as if they are third world citizens in their own country, because when a whole prime minister is actually forgiven for participating in that kind of scandal, and then there are just a few scapegoats, and the speaker is also forgiven, and the vice president, at the expense of the lives of the people of Karamoja, then I think there's something fundamentally wrong. But also, I want also to ask about the person who recommended the distribution of iron sheets to the people of Karamoja. They appear to need more cows than iron sheets. It's as if they are always on the move. But of course, that doesn't mean that the things which are given to them by government must be squandered. And I want to call upon the government to expedite the trial of Honorable Nandutu Urgorovi and its Tutu, and maybe we can see some justice. But also, it speaks to the great volumes of money which are lost over, per year to corruption and bribery and so forth. Around 800 billion per year. That's a lot of money. It is too much. It's too much. It's too much. Of course, I'm quoting the minimum. It's too much, and depending on our budget, we cannot afford to lose that money. And of course, I realize that the government does not have the intention of ending or eliminating at all the vice of corruption. The Anti-Corruption Act is in force. It has stringent measures, but the implementation and the execution of the penalties there, I think, is still weak. Of course, the courts of our land are doing their best to curtail any corrupt tendencies, but I also think that the introduction of the State House Anti-Corruption team has weakened the IGG. The IGG is no longer interested in the curbing of corruption. I think the IGG and her people feel either they have been embarrassed, they have been weakened intentionally by the President of the Republic of Uganda, and I don't see any will at all from the state to put measures to end the vice of corruption. And a corrupt state has no future at all. It is going to quote and unquote become extinct. So I encourage all of us, especially actually, not to abide by the words of my friend Jim Espire Senton, who says that we should all be corrupt. I think that was a statement in anger.
I think that was sarcastic, because when you read the tone that he used in
of course I know.
that,
Yes,
he was literally shaming those that are involved
of
in
course,
the
I'm
act.
aware of the intention of the cartoonist. Of course, I know satire and so forth. But there are people who may think it is true, and that is the way to go. I will still think that we can do something. We don't have to be corrupt. I think we can fight corruption and be interested and actually be extremely single-minded in the pursuit of what excellence. We should not be corrupt. We should really be honest. Even, of course, in courts of law, the biggest impediment to the administration of justice in our country is corruption. Lawyers, even the Ankaritgans, staff of court. Bribes are everywhere. Bribes. I need the file money. I want to see the status of my case, money. I want to do something, money. And really, it's really so much. Then, of course, on our roads, the traffic officers are so corrupt. All they're interested in is just a handout. They don't mind about how many people are in a taxi. They don't mind about the third-party insurance. They don't mind about the mechanical condition of the car, the driving permit. All they want is lunch. And now that schools are starting off, then really let's prepare for accidents, because the traffic officers, I think, are more interested in how their own children are going to go home than whether Ugandans reach where they are going in a safe manner. Okay. I think in the passing, I want to state that it is a duty of each of us under Article 17 to respect public property. The Constitution is public property. Roads are public property. Of course, oxygen is for all of us. These are state institutions, the property there. Let's not misuse our offices. Let's not take our offices as a cash cow. Okay, you serve and time is going to reach and go. Then, of course, the President of the Republic of Uganda I don't think he has any intention really of ending corruption. And I want to encourage him, even if his health is fading a bit, to still have an eye for the ordinary Ugandan. Corruption is the biggest impediment to the democracy and the development of a young state. 61 years. And we should not use examples of America because corruption is there. No, we are an independent state. So we should fight to strengthen our institutions and not individuals. Institutions, and I think most important of all, as a human rights activist, the Human Rights Commission has failed us. It has failed us. It is understaffed. It is under-equipped. It has no potential, no capability at all to investigate human rights abuses. Of course, even the Equal Opportunities Commission is also the same. So I think we are suffering under a cacophony of the death of institutions. And as 2024 comes in and 2023 goes out, it is my humble request to each of the 45 million people of Uganda to ensure that they do not give a bribe to any single public officer in 2024. Thank you so very much.
All right. Let me have now Sima Wanjizi on the saga about, not the very first, because they said, especially the political analysts, the only way that a government can be tampered is either the use of arms through an election or through an accumulation of sagas and controversies in government. And this is one of it, where we saw ministers, share on what would have been resources for the most deprived in our society, the people of Karamoja, and take those iron shades for their animal shades, and people that literally control our budget. They have all these resources. They are the best paid public servants, and then they get to share what belongs to the least poor. And here we are this whole year. We don't have a report to that effect. Those that are being presented before courts of law, we've not seen them step aside from their offices for a thorough investigation like it would ordinarily have been. Does this take us to have a very serious government, especially the executive, in making sure that the corruption that has literally eaten all of us is dealt with squarely?
Thank you so much, Banyaji, and our dear listeners. I think for the whole of this year, if there is any national issue that we've discussed multiple times due to public demand and due to the concerns of us as Ugandans as well, it's corruption and the embezzlement of public resources. It's a cancer that is eating up our country. You and I well know that if we properly dealt with corruption, embezzlement tendencies, we would be in position to fund our budget without borrowing or begging these donor countries, our development partners. And it's quite sad when you find someone who is already aware of earning here a lot of money from the national treasury. His or her life is literally being taken care of by the peasants, the taxpayers, and they don't even think about giving them back the least that they are entitled to by His Excellency. I wanted to clarify something small about the issue of iron sheets. My brother, Senior Counsel Deusdedit Wenje, the package that His Excellency, in his wisdom, had dictated for these people that have always lived those nomadic lives, being on the move ever, and he's currently encouraging them to settle down. It entailed several things, even restocking their farms, giving them cattle, goat, sheep, and iron sheets. And I have a feeling our brothers and sisters in the north could have even lost more money or entitlements in form of money that was allocated to them restocking. I know that it must at one time come out. When it comes to the laws for fighting corruption, we have the best. We have the anti-corruption unit of State House. We have the IGG's office. We have Attorney General. We have this and that and that. And you wonder why they are being paid. The other day, I saw the IGG, Honorable Betty Kamya, bragging, telling Ugandans, throwing it into their faces. If you encourage corruption for us, we are okay. Potholes on the holes, on the roads will not affect us. It's a fact, but really, as a leader,
That's being insensitive.
that's being insensitive. That kind of arrogance and impunity must be stopped. Peter Mpaka, or even if we are to be honest with Ugandans, even give me time, please. Give me time, please. Behave.
But we can all
behave.
concur that for a minister
Now, when
to
you
make
abuse
such
people, they will
utterances
start complaining.
is
their
unfortunate.
indiscipline.
When you say
As a
for us,
leader.
we...
So, no.
Actually, she's being
So that's what.
Okay, let's allow...
So that's the kind of leadership that Noop is bringing here. Kamya herself, to me, I don't even think he qualifies to be in that position, because she has, her name to me is not that clean. She has been, her name has come up on several, come up in different corruption-related scandals. Way back from her time at the Uganda Virus Research Center in Entebbe. So, fast forward, me, I would say it starts with me and you. Because when you look at the Anti-Corruption Act, Section 5 and Section 26 that talks about punishment for someone bribing a public officer, you, the person giving him kintu kidogo, and the person receiving it, the two of you are equally guilty. Two, Ugandans, we need to wake up and stop being naive. Let's know our rights. Let's demand for what is legally entitled to us. We don't need to feel like these people occupying these offices are like demigods, or they are there. They are our bosses. They are our servants. That's the reason as why they are called public servants. And in Paka, me, I would strongly encourage us to enlighten Ugandans, because some of these people are taking advantage of ignorance of the majority of Ugandans. So stop assuming we, the elites, actually we are the biggest problem to this country, the intelligentsia. We tend to assume the fact that we know. Even our ordinary people know. But you yourself, you know it, and our dear listeners, when they go to,
Can you stop
when they go
speaking
to,
behind the microphone?
when they go
it's
to
not your
police,
turn?
they will end up paying for bond when it's free, because some of them don't know. And
But you
even
see-
when they don't
you
know,
see-
they don't know the places where they should go for
Asimwe Bandizi.
redress.
Asimwe Bandizi, where does the buck stop? And I always ask that same question about corruption.
And that's
Let me tell you, when the ordinary people cast a vote in expectation of service delivery and give you the ability to use the resources at your disposal through tax collection and whichever means. Yes, social contracts with the people. And all you do is join them in lamenting. Recently, we saw the State Minister for Primary Health Care, the lady, Mrs. Muhanga, Margaret Muhanga, lamenting about roads. These are people that sit in cabinet. We have a couple of other ministers. Kadaga herself was lamenting about roads. Now, if at all people are going through the same situation, but who is supposed to clear?
Thank you.
Who is supposed to
and
provide the solution to the problem?
And that's what I was coming to in my concluding remarks, but I had to build my story, a preamble, the genesis of all this. And me, I was going to conclude by telling our dear listeners, and even His Excellency, and whoever is in a position to address this, this madness has to stop. we must walk the talk. Me, that's the reason as to why.
But you see,
Our
President
voters-
Museveni will tell you,
He
within the power,
he has to walk the
in
talk.
my office, I've created offices that are mandated to make sure
That's
that
when I say
that corruption is investigated and those that are implicated are indicted. We know for sure that there is anti-corruption unit. There is the State House investor anti-corruption unit. There is
And-
the how IGG. We have the Ministry
Banyaji,
of
you
Ethics
see,
and
you
Integrity.
see.
We have all these ministries that are
Banyaji,
charged with fighting the vice.
The
Then
reason as to why even like Sobi was killed, I don't encourage it. It's because of our systems failing.
Okay.
Because people get frustrated and it reaches a point they take the law into their hands much
Thank you,
as
Banjaze.
we don't encourage it.
No,
So
there's a-
finally, as I conclude, me when it comes to corruption,
That is the government.
I will not. That's my opinion as a taxpayer that has a tax bill of over 20 million Ugandan shillings as we speak right now. So it's my right to condone what has gone. To condemn what has gone wrong and to give credit where things are okay.
Thank you,
So you
Asim.
don't need to tell me not to. And I'm not the government spokesperson. Whatever I say here, I say it in my own interest and in the interest of the people of Ruhinda. So I wish
thank you.
my people in Ruhinda. And on the issue of corruption, even these guys in opposition, they are corrupt. But me, I will conclude by saying,
but being corrupt,
by
That
saying,
is the most reckless statement I've had.
being corrupt.
So we must have to deal with the
me,
corruption.
I
in
was
government.
going to
Yes.
give you my opinion.
No,
That's
no,
why
Your
me,
time is up.
me,
NRM.
I'm pro military democracy.
Okay.
The kind of system that
You-
is
you can't-
working in
No,
China is
no.
the one that I would love here to address all these issues and we stop lamenting.
Peter Mpaka, the scandal, the iron
the-
sheet scandal.
There is a listener here who has just said, help tell Wanjizi that if he's not prepared for the talk show, should just get out of the studio and go home and get some
Shut
assistance.
up.
It is here.
No,
it is
please
here.
have decorum. Let's not go into a side show.
He is.
Peter
This is the
Mpaka, do
listener.
not
He's
go
simply
into a
bickering.
to the matter, to the
Yes,
topic of
to the matter,
discussion.
yes.
the name of that person?
He's
And
called
from where?
Banini Dixon, listening in from Kashar.
You see,
He's saying,
What
go
this-
and prepare for the talk show.
and I want to caution the three of you. This is a serious radio station.
Yes.
We cannot tolerate a sideshow and irresponsible utterances. If it's something from the outside, it's not parts and parts of what we contribute here. I think we should keep the record on here, on the scandal.
So, thank you, SJ. And our dear listeners, I would want to simply inform them that President Museveni and the whole of the NRM government, they have no wisdom to the extent of solving scandals that have characterized this government. Actually, for me, the big take from the Mabat scandal is that that scandal emerged up to cover other scandals which were ongoing at that time. Because the Mabati issue was, I think, one of the small. There was a scandal going on in the NSSF, and people were asking about companies which do not remit to NSSF. People were inquiring about the hemorrhage of money from NSSF through one of the relatives of the president. So for me, the Mabat scandal, the only big issue was that the privileged were taking things which had been provided for the underprivileged, for the people who are not privileged at all. But when you examine the whole issue, where you have a president who says, whenever my people steal, please don't fight them, because whenever they steal, they do not invest the money outside Uganda. The money keeps within the saturation of our economy. So according to President Museveni's understanding of economics, he sees that when money comes out of Bank of Uganda and is stolen by Wenje, and Wenje goes and builds a school somewhere in Kacheka, that is not stealing. That's okay. because the money has no. So for Rugorobi to take the money meant for the Karichunas, and then he takes it and it covers his goat shed. Seven says that's okay. That's why Murugorobi has not been fired, has not been even told to resign.
But I think what we should all agree,
Yes.
especially Bandazi,
Yes.
and all supporters of the National Resistance Movement and General Museveni, majorly, is there is a feeling of something being done about corruption. But there is definitely not exactly what should be done. Because I am thinking, if His Excellency the President, there was such a scandal where he makes a directive for a minister that is suspected of the same, first to step aside. All right? The moment an investigation is carried out, that person is fired, not to wait for cabinet reshuffle. Is fired and serves a jail term. All right? Yes. Where we see people having their assets.
That should be upon conviction.
Yes, I mean upon due process. That's entirely.
But
Then Ugandans would take President Museveni and all institutions that are charged with fighting graft seriously. But you see, you cannot keep singing about things, and the next thing we see are people bouncing back into cabinet. They have been convicted. We had the Minister of Ruero now, who even pleaded guilty to corruption. But she's serving in government.
I want to compound my point.
Yes.
That for me, I remember that time we came here and discussed that thing. I think 2 consecutive weeks. And my point was, where is the affirmative action? Because, and do you know how the Mabati scandal ended? The Mabati scandal ended in President Museveni writing a letter. I think it was written to the Speaker of Parliament. And he said, I have addressed myself to this issue of the Mabati. People who stole the Mabati
Should return them.
should return.
Mhm.
And that's one part. I also found
And
out
those
that some
that
people
cannot return and used, let
should
them pay.
cash.
Yes.
I also found out that some people were dragged into the issue knowingly, others were dragged into the issue unknowingly.
No, there's nothing like
He's also
No,
saying,
it's what
also
he
said
said.
it in the
It's
letter,
what
in
he
that
said.
letter.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
how the matter ends. And then he says, for those who used the Babati in their constituencies, that was political corruption. He called it political corruption. And then he said those who were dragged. So I want the DPP to investigate thoroughly, and then we see how this issue ends. And that's how the Mawati issue and the other scandals, which were the bigger scandals, the NSSF things, all got buried. And then we had the death of Ngora, and then we moved on as Ugandans. So for me,
On that point also, I want to encourage the DPP, the Honorable Justice Jane Francis Abodo, not to be taken for a ride. She doesn't have to wait to be
instructed on what to
instructed.
do.
Remember this story of
but
Katanga.
Bwenje.
But that's
You
the
see
list.
At first,
The majority of the cases that are
No.
managed by the office of the DPP are
Yes.
not on direction of His Excellency the
For
President.
no. Bwenje.
See, for us, even any one single instruction from the president to the DPP shows that the DPP somehow is incompetent.
No,
Because
Bwenje.
if
what
you
we
wait for the instruction of the president to add the wife of Katanga on the charge sheet or the indictment, then it means there's something wrong.
You see,
Yes,
let
fundamentally
me
wrong.
tell you.
Because
Actually,
as a person who was in the same room with the deceased husband, she ought to have been added there from the first,
Speak to the microphone,
me-
sir.
first
you
step,
see-
whether she was sick or not.
All right.
what is fundamentally wrong with the governance of Uganda is the person of President Museveni.
Okay.
Because let me finish this.
Yes.
You are saying he shouldn't. The DPP should not wait to be instructed by the president. But we have seen the president instructing the chief justice. We have seen the
course, that
president
is wrong.
instructing
That
the
is
electoral
wrong.
commission.
That
But this is
wrong.
the fountain of honor,
What?
the commander in chief.
No. You
No,
see,
no,
you've talked about
It
due
is the
process.
same constitution
Aren't you the
that
one?
has vested so much
There's-
executive
Aren't
power
you the one?
in the office of the
Aren't
president.
you the one who talked about due process? Even if you have given me
Okay.
the
Actually,
keys,
that
the keys
later.
to all the rooms in this house,
Yes.
does it mean that I should just open into the toilet even when I
Even
know
the
there is
landlord
somebody
can't
there?
enter your house
the
as a
landlord
tenant.
can't-
Let's
So
go
I
for a
think-
break. When we come back in the second hour, we'll be talking about the second topic. Good morning.
It's tough. It's bold. It's real politics. The Big Seat on 91.2 Cruise FM. Great music.
Great music.
on 91.2 Cruise FM. Great music,
Great music.
great friends.
Great friends.
Exactly 3 minutes past 10 o'clock on Western Uganda's biggest radio station, 91.2 Cruise FM. Great music, great friends. Thank you so much for those that are locked on your radio. My name is Wesige Banyaji. I am very certain that a couple of petrol stations are listening to the big set in Rubicon and Total. You do a good job. And Makenke, right? Dawn petrol station, they listen to Cruise FM. I know there is a supermarket at Golf Course. A supermarket listens to Cruise FM. Day-to-day supermarket, you listen to Cruise FM. All around, I know certainly my people in Makansing, the carpenters, are busy listening to the big set, and Cruise FM in particular. I want to thank you so much. Yesterday, when I was having a haircut, without them knowing me or something, the radio was on and Cruise FM was blazing loud and clear. I want to thank you, TNT Delight Salon, for always letting the people know that Cruise FM is the biggest in the land. And every other person that reaches out to tell us how they love the show and the radio. You do us real good. Now, as we've done all the way in 2023, we continuing the same in 2024 with the best in the spirit of great music, great friends. Now, tomorrow night, Sunday, ushering us into a new year, you get an opportunity to win yourself 91,200 shillings. When you predict the number one song of the year, we'll be counting down 100 jams on Cruise FM. I'll be part of that, and I'll be very excited to take you through and usher you into a new year. But keep the radio on, follow through, and don't forget to give us feedback on our social media platforms, 912 Cruise FM on X and 91.2 Cruise FM on Instagram and Facebook. And definitely for the lifeline of the show, the telephone calls on 752-912-912 and 780-912-910. If at all you want this whole TV radio situation, you can go on Cruise TV. That's on TikTok and YouTube. That's courtesy of Creative Digital Media. And it's clear, even after we out of here, you can be able to follow through and watch what has happened here and the topic that we discussed and everything that has to do with that. Now, there are a couple of people that are giving me all the feedback that I need this morning. Levis Mkwase, Mkamatkwase. How I struggle to mention your name, sir. You're saying Obanjizi this morning is different. You're tuned in Ranama, Bogonjin Shema. I want to thank you, Levis, and every other person that is around you for catching the show. You're much appreciated. Dixon Banini, I didn't listen to the big set. And I have Bernard Tumhaire. I hope I've gotten the name right. You're listening to the big set. And I want to thank you so much. You're saying you're in Andrews in Kachika. And every other person, the new listeners, we appreciate you and we love you so much. We talk about the biggest stories of 2023. Tell us what you think was the biggest story of this year. We'll be able to read some of that as we go forward. And we've been talking about the scandal of Karamoja, where ministers were able to share the resources that were meant for the destitute in Karamoja. Very shameful. And we condemn that action. We only hope that those that wield power in this country are able to stop these actions. The second topic that we're going to be catching that made headlines, in our opinion, is in March, Uganda's President Yoweri Museveni signed into law the world's harshest anti-LGBTQ bill. The move immediately drew condemnation from many Ugandans, as well as widespread international outrage. The international community definitely withdrew support. We saw the UK government saying that it is deeply discriminatory and the damage on Uganda's international reputation. We know the actions by the World Bank. We know that so many Ugandan leaders were literally sanctioned never to appear in the US or EU because of this particular law. And we know what is happening in the Constitutional Court, where there is a determination on that matter. Well, I think it's on notice. The ruling will be made in a few on notice. And the arguments this time were not open court. They were literally by submission of written submission. So we did not see.
Well, I think it was a disservice.
It was
to
a
the people of
disservice,
Uganda.
especially for us legal scholars.
Exactly, yes.
Because we would now be interested in the submissions. But here we are, Council Bwenje. You're a big proponent of homosexuality rights. And the law is within us and a part of us now. Some of us support this law to the latter. And we believe that children should not be,
Of course, yes.
recruited. And even adults, we believe that law is embedded in our morals, in our culture, in what we believe in. And this was only codifying what we believe in the Africanness, in the Ugandanness.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I'm not a moralist, I'm not a priest, I'm a lawyer. So I speak from the perspective of a law.
No, that it is what
I'm
it
not a
is.
moralist.
It
I'm
is
not-
what it
I think
is.
morals are morals are relative. What is moral to you might be immoral to me.
That is true.
Some people think eating pork is immoral. Not even wrong, but immoral because of the way a pig looks like. So I don't want to associate myself with morals and the spiritual aspects of actually the spiritual, the cultural. So I am more interested in the law.
Okay.
And the law is to the effect that all of us are born free and equal. And that is the provision of Article 1 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights of 1948. Free and equal, irrespective of whom we love, irrespective of whom we have sex with, irrespective of whom we adore or we don't adore. And so from the onset, that law has no space in a democratic state like Uganda. It even has no state in any third world country, not even in any first world country. Because, you see, sex and love are matters of a personal nature. You cannot force me to love a woman if I can't. So whether you correct me, you beat me up, that is who
But
I
there
am.
is already law that is against the natural order. We know bestiality is
Yes.
rebuked by
And you know
our
why?
constitution.
And you know why?
We know that incest is rebuked by
Yes.
the law. So
You see-
that's also a spirit of how adults can consummate. It doesn't matter.
No. You
So
see,
why
when
are you
have,
putting it in isolation?
When you have sex with a snake, the snake has not consented.
How is that so?
Yeah, because it doesn't speak. And even if it communicates, maybe, and you don't. So
But
human
a
being and
dog,
snake,
a
we
dog,
have-
we know a dog out of domestication
Yes.
has shown response to particular, instincts of human beings.
Yes.
So perhaps it could
Yes.
consent in a way.
No. That's not consent.
You see that
You see-
that
you
is.
see, consent must be free and equal. So the consent of the dog cannot be equated to the consent of a human being.
Oh, okay.
So I want to state emphatically so that a homosexual is as human.
We may not
as the
necessarily
heterosexual.
go back to the merits of
Yeah,
this
yeah.
particular law, but now since it is done, it is law. How do we deal with it going forward? One, we are
Of
waiting
course,
for a
of course,
constitutional court ruling.
And I want to inform all homosexuals or lesbians, the gay and so forth, that being a member of the
Please stop
LGBT,
murmuring behind the microphone.
that being a member of the LGBT community is not an offense. Being gay is not an offense. What is an offense is practicing homosexuality. And homosexuality under the act is defined as a sexual act between people of the same sex. But also, what is also strange about that law is that if you have homosexual sex with a person of 75 years of age, that's an offense. Now, the indication of 75 years of age is intended to mean that a person of 75 years of age has some mental challenges and might not actually consent. Okay? Now that also now leads me back to the age age rank, a limit.
In the
where
Constitution.
they say the person of 75 years can lead. So they scrapped off the 75 and the 35. So now I think that is Parliament shooting itself in the foot. If it said that a person of 75 years can lead, but now a person of 75 years cannot really consent, then it means that the age, that the removal of the 75 years was done in bad faith. But on the aspect of the law, I want to encourage all members of the LGBT community to be hopeful. Maybe the Constitutional Court can nullify the law, and they begin to openly enjoy their rights.
All right, thank you.
But
Gwenje.
of course, what I oppose from the onset is the involvement of children,
Okay.
because children don't have the ability to consent.
Okay. Yes, Asim.
Thank you so much.
The opposition, especially the NUP, has called on the president to stop using the law for politics. Do you entirely concur with the opposition?
In law, they say he who alleges must prove.
Yes.
So the onus is on my brother Ampaka and the other members of NUP. Luckily enough, it's full of brilliant, intelligent lawyers, people practicing in the law fraternity. Let them prove it to the latter. They are just politicking. And even Impaka here knows that it's a good law, and it was developed with more punitive measures to deter people. And even the atheist senior counsel, Gwenje, you've heard him say, at least on the part of protecting our kids, children, the young ones that cannot consent, it should be implemented to the latter, because he's a parent. And those are the contradictions. So one thing...
It's already a law.
The one thing...
Prohibiting the involvement of children is the defilement, is an aggravated defilement.
So
There's no need of enacting
that's the
new
reason
law.
as to why, when it comes to some of these things, we need to put aside hypocrisy, pretense, drama, acting. It's a good law.
Hey.
And my prayer is just one, for it to be implemented fairly across board. Never at any one time should it ever be used to prosecute people with divergent views or people who are in opposition. Because the way I always say, today you're in government, tomorrow you will be in opposition.
Oh, okay.
And we also saw like the Public Order Management Bill. It was brought by Honorable Amama Mbabazi. He didn't know that soon it will be used against him. So we need to be objective, to be fair. As Africans, me, basing on my religion, I cannot support this. Yesterday I was watching the sermon of the Archbishop of, is it Namibia or Zambia?
It was Malawi. Actually.
Malawi, yeah. Saying that if it comes to this, if it means us parting ways with the Holy See, we will. So,
I think that is very good, very categorical.
Yeah.
I think the Holy See has been a disappointment
see,
to the Roman
Pope,
Catholicism.
No, you see, a Pope is saying that you are not a better Catholic because you are not a homosexual.
No, the argument,
so-
it should be argued in
same-sex,
principle.
blessing.
It should be argued in principle
Yes.
that the Catholic Church that rebukes priests that go ahead against canon law
No,
to
exactly.
have side marriages and
Exactly, yes.
and such children. The same principle should be, if at all they don't believe in same-sex marriages and relationship, then that is it. You cannot talk
Absolutely.
about blessing.
No,
That's
you see,
it.
no. You see,
And Banyaji,
I think
our Church of Uganda here, we broke ties with
no, I don't
the
think so.
Katibari.
I don't think so.
Reason being,
You
they
still have whites
currently...
here. You still have whites in
No.
Mirembe. Where?
No, but they
but
are not
whites does not
supporting.
mean,
They are
no,
not
I mean,
supporting.
white priests-
Let me bring in
They're
Mpaka.
still there.
Mpaka homosexuality and the anti-homosexuality.
No,
act.
no,
Yes.
they are here.
Let's allow Peter.
Thank you, SJ. And me, I want to associate myself with morals. I want to associate myself with spirituality because I believe that we didn't just appear from anywhere. There is a God up there who created us.
Absolutely.
And who has enabled us to be what we are. Now, one of the most wonderful creatures, I think the best of all times that God ever created, is a woman.
Now, that's also that's actually sexist. She's trying to...
And I have already told you that I'm going to associate myself with morals and spirituality. I'm telling you,
let's allow
if there is something wonderful that God has ever created, is a woman. And that's why even Mr. Bwenje here, who is trying to, write, Banjis, though he was not well prepared for the talk show, there is something he commented, and he said that elites, we are the ones who are destroying the country. And this whole homosexuality thing, Bwenje is trying to bring in elitism. Because when you look at a dog in our community, there is a way they behave. Cows, there is a way they behave. Even hens, there is a way they behave. So for me, I really love women, and I pray that we do not go into this diversion. And on this is one point where, though I am an opposition activist, I really support the ideas of President Museveni. Actually, President Museveni is an extreme. You have said I've made a sexist statement, but President Museveni is actually a very extreme sexist, because for him he's even against oral sex. He campaigns against oral sex, and he says we know the address. We know the proper address.
You approve of that.
I said I am for morals. So we know the proper address of sex.
Yes.
So having said these opening remarks, I want to tell my people that the context, the contestation has always been on two things. Is it nature or it is nurture? Nature in the context of, are you born, because that the people who are fighting for human rights like Bwenje say you are born, because that's why he made that statement that rights are free and equal. So in that, you are born a homosexual. And then nurture is the issue of disorientation. You are nurtured that way, because he also talks about dogs. Actually, you're the one who asked him, Mr. Banyaji. Dogs can also be trained to respond in a certain way and have sex with human beings. So scientists have come out and proven, and I want the listeners of CROOZE FM to listen to this, that we are not born homosexuals. There is no any person who is born a homosexual. So this is nature, upbringing. And that's why there is the church. Actually, I don't understand why you people are saying that the Pope is wrong in calling homosexuals to church. The Pope is right. Because if somebody has been disoriented, we should reorient them and bring them to order. That's why there is point of order in parliament. If somebody is debating out of order, they are brought to order. So if somebody has chosen to be disoriented, the church is there, the counselors are there, rehabilitation centers are there, recreational centers are there, the law is there to reorient this person and say, man, you can't leave a city God has created for you. Orurembo rwa Kabarole, the city of Kabarole, yo nachari ne yawe. And for you are leaving Kabarole, you're going for a camol, you're going for a ventilator. No, we are saying that is wrong.
Yes.
Please, Kabarole is here.
Right.
It has been well prepared for you. Enjoy the Kabarole.
Thank you. That's for the anti-homosexuality act. When we come back after breather, we are going to be engaging ADF and all that has to do with Kasese Urwenzururu. Don't touch your dial. We'll be right back. Good morning.
It's tough. It's bold. It's real politics. The Big Seat on 91.2 CROOZE FM. Great music.
Great music.
Great friends.
Great friends.
Wait a minute.
We're back 24 minutes past 10 o'clock on Western Uganda's biggest radio station, 91.2 CROOZE FM. Good music, good friends. My name is Wesi Gebanyaji. The big city is on air and online on www.cruisefm.com/stream and on Cruise TV for YouTube and TikTok. You can be able to watch seamlessly like that. Now, to the telephone calls, you can be able to call in on 752 912 912 and 780 912 910. They're good listeners that are catching the show that I want to send shout outs to here. I'll be able to read some of the names, so keep it there. Ernest in Kanungu, you're listening to the show. Kanungu in Chihihi, that's in Kanungu. You're listening online. I want to thank you so much, Ernest. Dixon Banini, you're listening to the show, and you're saying for you your biggest story is Matthias Mpoga being replaced by Joel Besekezi Senyonyi. That's what you mean. Thank you there. Let me read on Facebook. Benjamin Amanya, you're saying the Mufti saga is unforgettable. ADF constant attacks in Uganda, and still the big news of separation of the FDC. Matthias Major on Facebook, you're saying my role model at the same time, my namesake Matthias Mpoga being dropped or as leader of opposition for you is a big story. And Lord Mayor Lukwago taking on interim leadership over the FDC. Natuzuna, you're listening again from Natuzuna Bruno, Rwampara there. Gumeseza Wycliffe Omhinda, you're saying the ADF attacks, Iron Sheet scandal, the other I will not mention because CROOZE FM is not a part of it. Urban Flavor, you thank us for the show, and you're saying Mabati is your biggest story. Isma in Indonesia, in Rwampara, thank you. Gaba Anthony, you're saying, well, thank you. Elias Kavanjura, you're listening again from Katonga Bridge. Orishawa Marcel, Iron Sheet Scandal. Palvov, you're saying speakers being given cars, ADF scandals, FDC scandals, massive accidents, flooding in the central, the wedding of the Shabazinga. Aloysius Vadi, you're saying the Iron Sheet Scandal. Bobby Wine instructing NUP legislators not to bag 100 millions. On and on and on. I see you, Crescent Saja, Mwesigwa Drake, and all of you that are sending in the messages. Keep them coming. I'll be able to read some of that. Now, lawyers at the LDC are catching the show. Muhechi Jonathan Bado, and a couple of the very learning friends that are there. Shanita, Josh, and John, thank you so much, the learning colleagues, for catching the show. I appreciate the love that is coming from Chamgorani at the LDC. They never miss the big set. Much love and appreciation there. And every other person that is locked on your radio, catching the big seat, we appreciate you very much. Two big stories that I think we cannot live without talking about is the split in the FDC, the ADF. Let me pick a bit of the calls and then we get back to that on 752-912-912 and 780-912-910. The big set.
Uncle Brecker.
Ogamba Chicheamani Mahedas.
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. How is Katibani?
Munang. These ADF people, I don't know what's the all about.
Now, me, the problem I find with the ADF, the president and the spokesperson of the army tells us we saw these people moving, we know the way they are taking this direction, they have 2 guns, they have carried the cassava, but they cannot put them out.
These people, brother, surely they can't give up. Do you think that in Kamenge there is someone who is still sleeping in his or her house?
Where have you gone in Kamenge?
We are going in town, others in the trading centers.
But no one is sleeping in their houses.
No, because you sleep in that house,
Mm.
they will find you, they ban you from there, or just they kill you.
It's so sad. We only pray that the armed forces are able to nip that in the bud squarely. On 752912912 and 780912910. The big say.
Morning.
Yes, good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from?
This is Yona calling in from Tenshama.
Yes.
I want to know why the ADF are trying to kill people in Uganda.
Okay, I think that's spot on. You just want to know why the ADF are killing. I wish we had their spokesperson online. The big set. We just lost that call on 752912912 and 780912910. The big set.
Morning.
Good morning.
Hey, Banyaji.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to brother.
Yes.
This is my certified brother, Tunda Isingilo.
Yes, please.
The story that shocked me or that surprised me is where the parliament came out and gave the cars to the likes of
Ambassador Utajira.
And for sure, they would have used that money for other activities, but not giving out to the cars because those people have lots and lots of money.
All right, I think we've gotten your top story. The big set, top story of 2023.
Hello?
Speak a bit louder so I can be able to hear you. What's your name?
I'm Ivan from Isidro Kanga.
Ivan, Happy New Year.
Thank you to you. Waiting with all those in studio.
They are hearing, they are listening.
My top story here
Mm.
is a constant attacks of ADF.
Mm.
Otherwise, I wish you well.
All right,
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year too. I think let me come back to studio. You've had the ADF is the problem.
Now you see on November 18th and 19th of 2021 of 2020, the UPDF massacred people in Kampala. They shot at random. There's not been any accountability. Innocent people died, and so there's nothing which shows that the killings in Kamwenja are not being done by the UPDF.
No, sir.
There's nothing
No,
there.
we
There's
cannot.
nothing.
You see,
cancel.
Cancel.
Yes.
There
There's
is
nothing.
absolutely no
Yes.
political activity in Kamwenje that would warrant the state to use the UPDF
But
to
you
put
are
out
not-
its own people.
But see, you
We are not
a
talking
spokes-
about
see, you are not a
an
spokesperson of the
insurrection.
UPDF. No, this is not politics.
But you see, that is ridiculous,
This is not politics.
Kansobwenje.
No, this is not politics. There's nothing at all which shows that it
Kansobwenje.
is ADF and not UPDF. It's not there.
Kansobwenje,
Let me tell you
the
something.
statements you've uttered is
The
absolutely.
UPDF have not captured a single ADF and
But
brought
they've shown
him to the
pe-
court of law. Nobody.
Is Jamir Mukuru
No,
part of
that's-
the ADF?
no, you
Isn't
see,
he
Jamil
before
Mukuru
courts of
is
law?
not the one
There
killing
is
people there.
and that is a lie. There is
No.
a young man
Who?
who killed the tourist
Who?
that was nabbed.
Uh-huh.
His colleague was put out of action,
You see?
and the
You
other
see?
was
You
nabbed.
see?
No,
You see?
listen,
You see now?
another was nabbed,
You see?
presented
You
before
see?
court,
You
indicted.
See, when you put people out of action, you stop them from speaking the truth. Maybe it is you.
How about the gentleman that was aligned before court?
He has not been convicted.
Eh,
Yes.
No, you wanted
He
a
might be
conviction.
innocent.
You wanted a
Yes.
conviction to be given within the day.
No, so we cannot conclude that it is ADF because even in the Congo,
Banyaji.
where the
They'll
UPDF
steady-
went for purposes of
they'll
pursuing
steady-
the ADF, no single
Please.
ADF has been captured. There's no photo of
It's
a dead
quite
ADF.
absurd.
But it's very absurd.
No.
It's quite
very
absurd,
absurd. Me, I'm
especially
saying
to
it's
the
absurd
people
for you,
and
Kansobwenje,
Kansobwenje that have lost
Them
their
tell
dear
something.
ones.
No.
For dear ones, for you to come here and say
Losing
that
a dear
it's
one doesn't mean the dear one has been killed by ADF. It can even be the UPDF. Because we
Please
know
speak to the
it
microphone
has
so
a
that the
history.
Ugandan people
Yes.
hear
yes.
how ridiculous
No,
you are.
yeah, it might be
for having uttered
ridiculous.
such a
Yes,
statement.
but I'm saying the UPDF, mighty as it is said to be, has not shown us a single person who is alleged to be a member of the ADF
and
is killing people.
And I am telling you
Is it?
that the two gentlemen were captured by the
Is it?
UPDF. Another tried to escape,
Is
put
it-
out
is
of
it-
action.
is it
Another
you-
is aligned before courts of law.
You see,
Banyaji, I want
you
to-
you yourself
I
have
want to
said
clarify
that the
something small.
UPDF says we saw them carrying
I beg.
cassava. We saw them doing A, B, and C. So now that's
I
what
want
you,
to clarify something. Thank
Yes.
you.
you yourself have said.
Bwenje, honestly speaking, a good bunch of Ugandans out there don't support NRM, don't support the government in power.
Yes, but we are not stupid enough
and
to oppose something that government
I
has not
always
done.
give
No,
respect to
no,
the
no,
likes of Peter Mpaka, NUP, DP, UPC. Honestly speaking, someone fighting to liberate this country or to get rid of a so-called bad regime in quotes NRM, why massacre and kill innocent Ugandans?
But they
Our
did
mothers,
so.
our
No,
brothers,
no,
our sisters.
no.
Bwenje, you had
Let-
your
let-
time.
Allow
not
him.
forget.
Allow him. Give us the information.
So,
Let us not forget what
me,
the UPDF did.
If someone
to the,
said
but-
maybe we are not sure it's ADF or it might be another rebel group,
No,
I would
it can be.
entertain that story. But putting it on UPDF, it's sheer madness. So that's the that's the least that I can say. And we condole with the families that have lost their dear ones.
I also do.
And we ask all our
No, you don't.
security
I do.
we ask all our security agencies to work day and night and bring an end to this saga, because Ugandans have a right to life. They have a right to be protected by the government. And I also want to thank in a special way all our tour operators, every Ugandan connected directly or indirectly to tourism. Our economy is breathing. But this year, this festive season, most of our national parks are full and doing well, irrespective of the ADF challenges.
Let me come back to my.
Council
Let me come back to my.
Council Bwenje.
I'm out of my moods because of Wenje's submission.
Let me-
It's
no,
quite
Council
sad.
Okay,
It's
thank you. Council Bwenje.
See,
I have a
you see.
very personal friend
Yes.
who lost a father
Yes.
in a bombing at Parliamentary Avenue.
Yes.
If you told that family that the UPDF bombed your father,
Okay.
that would
Where is
that would be
evidence?
strange.
Where is evidence that bomb at Parliamentary Avenue was by ADF? It's
But
not there.
this has been corroborated.
No, it's
it's
not
been
there.
corroborated
You see,
by so much circumstantial
something.
evidence
Let me tell you something.
available
Let me tell you
to
something.
link that to the to
see,
the ADF.
When you still have unaccounted death of the Barenzururu in 2016.
Speak to the microphone.
Yes,
Why not?
when you still have unaccounted death of hundreds of Banyarenzururu up to now, made and commandeered by the UPDF, and the commander is promoted. No, torture. No.
Let's allow him. Let's
No,
allow him.
you see, they could have been arrested and charged with either treason or maybe murder or maybe some kind of offense, but not being shot on sight. So when you have a UPDF which is engaged in torture, you saw how many sticks they gave a man here in I think it was in northern Uganda.
But those are outliers.
Those are
outliers.
you see, such a UPDF which has a terrible reputation of human rights violations, you cannot rule it out of the murders and the massacres in Kamwenje now. So, and we don't have any. You see, when they went to Congo and spent the taxpayers' money running after ADF, and yet actually they were running after rabbits and hares and dogs in the bush. We have never seen any single body of an ADF person paraded here for us. So there's no accountability. There's no accountability.
I can authoritatively tell you,
yes.
Council Bwenje, you're misguided.
No.
Let me tell you. Let me tell you. You're simply politicking.
No.
And you're looking where to accost blame.
No.
But I can
I'm
tell
just
you.
asking you.
But I can tell you, as the people of Uganda,
Yes.
in good alliance with the state,
Because you have no option.
we
You are
know for
captives
sure
of the state.
we have so many enemies as a country, but ADF is one of them.
Yes, and it doesn't mean.
And we know by proximity.
Yes.
ADF being from Eastern Congo,
Uh-huh.
tormenting the people
So
of Kamwenje
you have no evidence
and
apart from
Kasese
circumstantial
is
evidence.
not very far-fetched. That is for sure.
No. See,
So for you to say
are-
it is LRA or any other rebel group from northern Uganda tormenting the people of Kasese is out of this world.
Me,
Let's have Peter Mpaka.
I waited for any piece of evidence that it is ADF, and you have not provided any. So it can be ADF or UPDF.
But these people have been able to be identified. President
But who?
Museveni has gone on so far in
No.
each address. No, listen,
Yes,
listen.
yes,
I'm
yes.
the chief of this
Yes,
radio
yes.
of this talk show. The president has gone so far in presenting names of these individuals, even when they are put out of action. All right, they have been named and then clearly linked.
That's
But
not
you
it.
see, this
Museveni-
man is
Museveni
a legal scholar
No, he's a
who
speculator.
has no knowledge in
No,
intelligence.
No, there's no evidence. Museveni has no evidence.
Okay,
You see,
your microphone is off. Peter Mpaka.
yes, for me, you see, our president, should I say even beloved president, because he has a good number of supporters, is a defending champion. And kwegamba ekikopo yakyakirina, and is ekikopo ekyobulimba. He's a defending champion in lying. So you should not totally water down the sentiments of Wenje. But for me, I want us to follow these stories very well. But Wenje, me, one thing I want to disagree with you is that at least there are some pictures which I have taken, and they have shown us the body of somebody being killed, and they have said that is an ADF rebel. Maybe it is them saying, maybe we don't know if there is a specific DNA, so that we can go and check the DNA and be sure that this is an ADF rebel. But for me, what I want to tell our listeners is to remind them that President Museveni came to power through a guerrilla war. And his guerrilla methods of governance he has never surrendered them. Emundu tagizanga yokugombolora. Akyakozesa guerrilla tactics. We are moving towards an election, you guys. Remember in 2021, 2 years before 2021, in 2019, we were preparing for a war with Rwanda. The border was closed.
It was never closed by the Republic of Uganda government.
Wait. Me, I'm giving my submission that we are going for a war, a real war. People had, the tension in Kabale was too much. We are 2 years away from an election. Me, I expect tension in Uganda. I expect some bombs. I expect some rebel activities.
And who is the orchestrator of the same?
Because
who is the orchestrator of the same?
Because me, I'm telling you, President
Who
Museveni.
is the
Let me
don't
tell you.
go forward. Who is going to be responsible for the things that you're predicting?
Because I'm not predicting them. The past shows me the present and shows me the future.
And who
where
has
we are
been
going.
carrying out the past?
So for
the
me,
bombs?
I want to tell you this.
No.
Me,
First, help the Ugandan to hear and understand. Don't
You-
leave
you
things
see,
vaguely.
don't cause
Who
me-
has been?
Don't cause me problems. There is a talk show. There is a talk show. Wait. There is a
Let's
talk
go for a
show.
break. We'll be right- We'll be right
Wait.
It's tough. It's bold. It's real politics. The Big Seat on 91.2 CROOZE FM. Great music.
Great music.
Great friends.
Great friends.
Real politics. The Big Seat on 91.2 Cruise FM. Great music,
Great music.
great friends.
Great friends.
We on the last lap of the show, 15 minutes to close out the show. Thank you so much for those that have been a part of the conversation this morning. It's been beautiful. Now I know politicians are cowards. They simply state things but don't want to deal with the consequences. Peter Mpaka here has clearly said, don't cause me problems, by simply speaking his opinion. But I want to thank you so much for, sending the messages, not leaving your ready at all. For those that are streaming online, you do us real good. Now, tomorrow night, we celebrating New Year's together. We're counting down the top 100 jams of the year. I'll be part of that, especially for the climax of the same. We're celebrating you and we're giving back in a special way. Predict the number one jam and you walk away with 91,200 shillings. You might be asking yourself, why the 200? Is Cruise that mean to give us small money? Why not complete on 200,000? It's only in line with our frequency, 912 Cruise FM. Thank you so much for those that have been a part of the show. We're almost getting out of here, but we cannot leave without talking about FDC and all that we've seen in political parties. The UPC, we had a court judgment on the position of the president of the UPC, Jimmy Akena. He's illegally in office. The FDC, we have clearly two factions, one in Katonga, one in Najana Nkumbi. The NUP spent the entire year in bring back our people, the 18 non-seen Ugandans. We now know NUP changed leadership in parliament. Those are the things that we are going to be talking about in the final lap of the show. Let me start with Bwenze. The activities in political parties.
Yeah. It is an unfortunate event that we are seeing discrepancies and divisions in political parties. And yet, a political party as a major vehicle for the transformation of society is, of course, in the context of Uganda, we seem not to have any political party because the government of the day has no interest at all in multi-party dispensation. It is effectively a one-party state. Uganda is a one-party state. Even if you have NUP, the FDC, they are not allowed to organize. They are disorganized.
But recently, Chagulanyi was busy making a countrywide tour until he made the sectarian statements. But he had a very comfortable cruise.
That he made. There's no sectarian statement. You see, sectarianism does not mean talking about tribes. No. Because it is a fact that Uganda has tribes.
But the Rwandan genocide was triggered by...
Yes.
By one
tribe.
No.
By one
the Rwandan genocide
another one.
was triggered by the statements you occasionally state on this radio station of Hutu and Tutsi. It's what the problem was. So was President Museveni going to wait for Bobi Wine to cause genocide in Uganda?
No, but
for him to
stop? If it is a fact that we are being downtrodden by one sub-tribe, just like it was in Rwanda, the Tutsis being led and bred to actually to look upon, to persecute the Hutu people. The Hutu people had every right to rise up. Okay, so. And it should speak to us that when one sub-tribe or one tribe tries to dominate the others, there are consequences. Because all of us are Ugandans, all of us are
Speak to
Rwandese.
the microphone.
All of us are Rwandese. So if the Hutus, the moderate Hutus and Tutsis are all the people of Rwanda, they are all entitled to the same opportunities. So we should always bear in mind that one tribe can rise up.
Okay, now to the political activities in the political parties.
Of course, from the onset, I want to thank very much the president of NUP, Honorable Chagulanyi, for appointing the Honorable Zake Francis to multiple positions of power. The Minister of Presidency and Security, as well as the...
Are you on that guy's paycheck?
The Deputy Chief... No, of course not. But I realize what consequences he has suffered for
Okay.
us.
He should
It's,
recognize you in
yeah,
a special
yeah.
way.
This is a person who has really given everything. It's a person who can't go to bed when there's no light. It's a person who has nightmares because of the torture at the hands of the state.
Okay.
And so I want to thank the president for actually for giving him a vote of confidence in giving him multiple positions. Except that I would have loved if he had appointed him the leader of opposition.
Okay.
And our dear listeners, for me,
But how would Francis Ake lead? Who would he lead? With his impunity and indiscipline. Go ahead.
yeah, for me, I really want to congratulate the NUP that there is a proverb which says Togayanga echezinze. I think NUP 2 years ago, 3 years ago, everyone was laughing at us. They were calling us a storm. They were calling us all sorts of things. But I think time has tested us. And you
No,
can
time
really,
hasn't tested you. It will
No,
only test
wait,
you after 2026
wait,
if you get
wait.
back the 52 members of parliament.
But even what we have been able to score, I think we deserve the credit. Like my friend always says, give credit where credit
it
is
is
due.
due.
So for me to see that we have been able to, with all the infiltration from President Museveni, with the throwing of money here, directives there, directive to the speaker, other way, parliament, one time censured the whole minister Namuganza because of bad manners which you're talking about, but she's still a sitting minister. Namuganza is still in the office. It was also another big story. So for me to see that NUP has been able to open a headquarter office in Kavule Makerere, NUP has been able to change a leader from a prominent leader to whatever you call him, a novice or whatever you call him what, but at least we are managing the change.
He's a rookie.
Whatever you call him, me, I don't mind, but it is a credit to us.
Okay.
And also for us to be able, I don't know if it is the trajectory we are taking, but I now see the FDC Katonga trying to move associate with us. So where you see a person in the person of Dr. Chiza Besigye, I saw a president of a certain country deceiving President Museveni that, Museveni, you are the father of this region, but we have the real fathers of what happens in Uganda.
But you see,
like
Peter
Besigye.
Mpaka
Yes.
and people that believe in the opposition,
Yes.
there is one truth, not even a fact, that you'll never take away. President Yoweri Kaguta Tebuhaburwa Museveni has been a leader in this country
He has
and in
been
the region.
No
No matter the shortfalls, President Museveni has exhibited leadership for the last almost 40 years in the region, whether you want it or not. He's been exemplary. Has he been a perfect leader? Absolutely not. Is he a person that every leader in the region can count on?
No.
But for me,
absolutely yes.
For me,
you can't take it away.
For me, they deceived him that he's the father of the region. I congratulate people like Dr. Chiza Besigye, whom we recognize as the father who represents the struggle of the ordinary.
The Raila
Ugandans.
Odinga.
The Raila Odingas, those are the people.
No, I mean,
because for them,
Besigye is like Raila.
for them,
Or
they are
Shangarai.
standing for. Because even you're bringing in bunches, but he's going to be talking like the oppressed. Yet he's among the privileged. But when he starts on the mic, he starts saying we are the oppressed. So for me, people like Chiza Besigye, to see them associating with Noop, people like Semujunganda,
because you're
to
the
see them
biggest
coming to
political party in
no,
opposition.
I think we have scored because I wish John Tulnao was here. One time he was discrediting us. He was saying this is a wave. It is a Kasorola.
But the litmus of whether it is a wave or not is only after 2026.
No, I'm telling you, even what we have been able to achieve now. Give credit where it is due.
FDC, NRM, nope. You've seen the year. How has it been?
Us as NRM, we are happy because these parties are growing.
I would be thinking one of your biggest story would be Moho's project and then came movement.
Why are you preempting my submission?
Please go right ahead.
So our dear listeners, us in NRM, us in MK movement, this year has been a good year because our brothers and sisters in opposition, they are becoming weaker by the day. More of them are seeing the light and they are joining us to work with us. Some ministers are from FDC, others UPC, DP, like this high profile fish that we got in Right Honorable Norbert Mao, a sober man 24/7, a leader that is held in high esteem. And the Wempaka says, honestly speaking, whether we call NUPA wave or this or that, you can't take away the fact that it's the current biggest opposition party we have in Uganda. For FDC is normal. If you now listen to Dr. Retired Colonel Chiza Besije saying FDC members should now join NUP, it means FDC is normal. And it's quite absurd because the way I always say it here, strong opposition puts government on its feet 24/7 to work and deliver.
Thank you so
They
much.
provide that alternative
Thank
agenda.
you,
In a second, I beg, allow me to wish a very good, happy, prosperous New Year to my people in Mitoma, Ruhinda County. And also say hello to Ambrose. He has been listening in. He said you're doing a very good job. He's a gentleman from Bushenyi. He loves critiquing all the time. I was surprised when I saw him saying that you're doing a good job.
Thank you, Mr. Asim and Nicholas Wanjiji. Thank you, Peter Mpaka. Thank you, Ms. Council Bwenze just did it. Thank you to all the listeners that have been a part of the show by stream or listening on the radio. Now, to remind you as I get out of here is that you get to win yourself 91,200 shillings in cash if you guess this year's top 5 songs tomorrow at from 2 p.m. to midnight, where we shall be counting down. My punchline this week is Happy New Year. May God bless you all. For God and my country, my name is Wesige Banyaji. Let's meet next year. Good morning.
The views expressed on this program are not necessarily the views of this radio station or its management.
This radio is regulated by Uganda Communications Commission, UCC.
Sunday Blues.